Good morning. Today is January 1st, 2021, and I am officially doing my fourth check-in for my cutting phase that I started on November 16th, my birthday this year. So, the cut is going well. I'm doing, honestly, this is the best I've ever done in my life with a cutting process, without like stress, anxiety, worry over food. And I don't know if that is because I'm just in a different place mentally. I went to the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't done much grocery shopping this year, mostly just like to-go orders that take whatever you like, the order, and then they take it to you or bring it to your car. Mostly I've just done that because of COVID. And so I did go into the store maybe like 2 weeks ago and found myself like quite riled up because, oh my gosh, like just the temptations and the junk food that's just so prevalent. It just is such a reminder to me of like why America has such an obesity problem and why America's having such a hard time with COVID as well, because our bodies are very inflamed and not super healthy. So I kind of was doing some articulating about that and thinking about it. And I think that some of the reason that my dieting process this time has gone smoother before, without the stress and anxiety and worry over food and obsession with food, is because I haven't been exposed to what's not in my home much, very, very little. And so I do think that's played a role, which for me, I'm super grateful for that, because normally not being allowed to eat whatever I want whenever I want is kind of like a scarcity mindset for me, and really is triggering for me often. So I honestly hesitated to do this cutting process because my mental space has been so good for the past year with food and diet and exercise that I was really nervous to mess it up by entering a cutting phase. But I am just like so happy to report that I am 6 weeks into the process. I just want to make sure that I'm telling the truth on that, but I don't have a calendar near me, so I think I'm pretty sure I'm 6 weeks into the process. And so this is either my third or fourth check-in, and just doing really well, really happy, really grateful with my results. Very pleased with what I'm seeing in the mirror. Scale's not changing a ton, even though I dropped calories again down to that 1900 mark. And I'm still maintaining that 148 pound mark that I have from the beginning, but my body's noticeably leaner in pictures, and I'll post some pictures later today. Really the place that I noticed it the most is really in my arms with the definition. And that's honestly, that was one of my major goals, is that I really wanted my arms to look like I work out when I'm not working out. And so I'm really excited about that. So weight staying steady at 148, but I did see a new low during this past 2 weeks, which was 146.9. And so I am trying to determine whether I'm going to cut calories back slightly more, which I'm at 1900, which is more than plenty of food, not a problem. But as you know, I was planning to finish this cut February 14th, and so I was planning to finish this cut on February 14th, but I have last minute just decided to book a trip with my friend. And so I'm going to be gone for a whole week of my cutting process. And so that brings some challenges, right? I'm going to be at an inclusive resort. Do I want to track my calories, weigh my food? I'm here to tell you I absolutely do not want to do that. I do not do that on vacation. I exercise when I'm on vacation because I love to exercise, but I eat what I want when I go on trips. For the most part. There are exceptions to that rule, but this will not be an exception to that rule. I will not be tracking calories. I know I'll be over calories because, it's like buffet style eating. So even though I'll be mindful, I'm always really cautious about food and try to make good decisions. I know I will be above 1900 calories per day. So I have a decision to make right now, which is, do I cut calories back, potentially hit a new low weight before I leave, then go out of town, eat out of my calorie deficit, and potentially have the scenario where it's a little bit too much for my body and have my body like really retain water pretty bad. I won't gain fat that quickly, but it's very possible that I could just retain a ton of water because my body's so used to eating so well through this cut, very, very clean, less processed foods, and then I'll be introducing that for a whole week to my system. So I have to decide what I'm going to do. And right now my gut is just telling me that I'm going to, what I'm going to do, I just decided, I've been thinking about it all morning, is I'm just going to continue my cut the way that I would otherwise. So that means that today would be a cut back in calories. So I'm going to cut back to just like probably 1850. Still keeping my protein the same, higher, like I'm around 135 grams. And so I'm going to cut back to, let's see, I need to write it down or else I'll change it. I'm going to cut my calories back to 1850. And I'm going to do that all the way up until my trip. And then when I go on my trip, I'm going to have what we would call like a diet break. I'm going to enjoy my time. I'm going to exercise, move my body in ways that feel good, but not stick to my training protocol, just move my body. And then when I come home, I will hop back on to where I left off. So I won't go back up in calories or anything like that. I will just go straight back to 1850, and that will actually be a really nice break for my body. So that's what I'm going to do. It's settled. So this week I had 5 strength training sessions to do and 60 minutes of cardio total for the whole week. So I did one day of a half an hour cardio and the second day of 30 minutes of cardio. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep programming it that way because that's how I like it. That just feels good to my body to be able to just focus on cardio and then mark it off and be done. So last week was 60 minutes of cardio. This week was 60 minutes of cardio. And I'm not going to raise my cardio more than 1 hour for the week because I just don't want to. I know that I fried my adrenals in the past doing excess cardio, so I will not do that to my body. It was very important to me through this cutting process to really honor and respect my body and show it love, not beat it up, not beat it into submission. So I'm going to keep that 60 minutes of cardio. And when I do 60 minutes of cardio, like today's cardio, for example, I was walking on an incline at like 10% incline at 3 miles an hour. And then every 5 minutes I would get off and do like a burst of a harder cardio. So like burpees or lunge switch jumps or 30 squat jumps, 10 burpees, 20 squat lunge switch jumps, or 30 squat jumps. And so that's like a really big burst. And I hop back on the treadmill. That is difficult. 10% incline is difficult for me, but it's not so difficult that I'm like gasping for air, if that makes sense. So, I'm going to keep that up. I did increase my steps. So before I was doing a 25-minute walk every day, and now I have the goal of a 30-minute walk every day. Again, this is slow steps. This is like I go walking with my kids and kick rocks. I could go out and walk in the pasture with the horses and just like moving around, like literally walking next to them. Last night, my girlfriend and I walked around the school with her dog. Like, this is not power walking. This is not, my heart rate's not very high. It's just strictly movement. And it really helps me hit my 10,000 steps. My goal is 10,000 steps a day. And I think everybody should really be reaching for near 10,000 steps, especially those of you who don't have jobs where you move much. I think it's very, very important that you're getting your steps in. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to keep that. I have another 30-minute of steps that I'll be doing forever. I've been walking for 20 to 30 minutes for the past 3-4 years every day. That's just like a gift to my body. Thank you, body, for being able to move. I know you were made for movement, so I will move you. So that's where I'm at. I'm sticking to 5 lifts per week only. I was lifting 6 days per week, but I'm not now because I'm cutting back food. And so I need to not trigger more hunger by over exercising. It's very important that we have a good balance of enough food, enough exercise to see results, but not to, hurt our body, make it harder on ourselves, stress our body any more than it already does, because dieting and exercising is stress to our body, and there's plenty of stress, as we all know. So really quick, I just want to go through my check-in sheet. My average weight for the past 2 weeks was for the past 7 days was 148. Totally fine with that. I can very much see progress in the mirror. So of course everybody gets disappointed by the scale, but really the scale has stayed within 3 pounds since I started this cut in November. And since I started back in July, when I did like my reverse, bringing my calories up, at that point, my high was like 158 or 159. So I'm very happy with where my body is at. And I have no complaints about that scale not moving more. I know it's not always about the scale. My clothes are fitting fantastic, looser than ever. I'm really actually excited for my trip to put on shorts because I know that I'm quite a bit leaner than I was in July and August. So I have a feeling that my shorts are going to be a little loose on me, which will be kind of fun. And did I follow my food plan? I did. I did not track calories on like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Christmas Eve I did up until like maybe noon or something. But Christmas Day I just allowed myself to eat. And then yesterday I tracked my calories up until like lunchtime. And then I went and had New Year's Eve with some friends, and I didn't track calories, but I also wasn't super wild with food. So I don't anticipate I was probably too far outside of my calorie goal. So my goal for the next 13, I'm leaving in 13 days. So my goal for the next 13 days is really to be spot on with that 1850 calories and just to see what my body does in the next 13 days. I did drink my 100 ounces of water every single day. I did do all my lifting sessions. I did do all my cardio, as we've talked about. And I have done all my steps. Things that made me happy or proud this week is one of the girls in my January challenge group posted today. I asked everybody to give me one promise for the month, and her promise was, I'm gonna say one nice thing to myself every single day. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. And I always tell people that kind of stuff, but I'm not always the best at like proactively staying consistent doing what is such a great idea for people. So that's what I'm going to do this month too. I am going to, every single day, I have a note on my phone that says, Dear Terry, and I'm just January 1st, it says, you're good, you're loyal, you're strong, you deserve happiness. And so that was my nice thing that I said about myself for today. So I'm going to do that every day for 30 days. And then honestly, I might turn that into a book because I think everybody could really use that encouragement to be nice to themselves and to remember that we're good. We were created for joy, vibrancy, love, laughter. I just can't even tell you enough. I love the new year. I'm a New Year's resolutioner. I first changed my lifestyle on January 1st of 2011. So I'm 10 years into my journey and I just am so passionate and so excited about it. So anyways, if you're following along with my cut journey, I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching my YouTube videos. And if you have any questions or anything, send me an email. I love to talk with my followers. I'm also on social media on Facebook and Instagram is Terry, T-E-R-I, last name, my business, Forever Fit, F-O-R-E-V-E-R-F-I-T. And I would love to have more followers. I'd love to engage with you. I'd love to know more about you. So thank you for being here. Have a super happy new year. And I hope that you are in a good headspace, that you can be healthy, you can focus on wellness, and you can remember that you are one choice away from a very different life.